Good morning, guys. How are you? My name is Marco Sembergman. I'm an English teacher. That's an activity that I've been doing for quite some time. Right now, I'm on the road to become a licensed teacher. That's why I'm studying at Dunat University. At the moment, I'm making a video for the class pedagogical experience in which I have to answer certain questions proposed. Okay, let's jump to point number one. It says, introduce yourself and the place you developed your practice. Okay, for my practice, I chose, well, since I was abroad working for a cruise line, I had no other choice than doing it, by the virtual approach. So that was the the approach that I chose, virtual classes, and the targeted students were high school students. So that's how I developed my practice: virtual approach, virtual method, and with high school students. Okay. Point number two: how different are you now from the time you started your practicum? Well, definitely this activity in this pedagogical experience class represented a very big challenge for me for several reasons. Not only the time was very limited because of the nature of my job, but when it came to performing the job, when it came to working on the students, I definitely found that the students, that the high school students, let's say, they are not fully aware of the importance of learning a new language. They are, in a learning process. It takes the teacher and the students to actually get some knowledge, to actually reach the target. So the students represented quite some challenge, because the students were very difficult for me to get them to do the assignments, and the nature of the activity itself, in which virtual learning, makes it even more difficult because of the maybe the access to the technological tools, and also like breaking the habit of using technological tools from an entertainment purpose to a more academic purpose. That's definitely one of the things that I notice, that there's people around and students, they need to also understand that the technological tools are also can be used, but for studying purposes. Okay. Talk briefly about your action plan. The same in the portfolio. Well, the action plan was basically, like I just told you, a virtual mode in which I had to prepare and design activities that I had to share with the students through the online tools. That was basically, the that was basically the action plan that I had to carry on with these classes. Okay. And the final point is, what do you think is the most challenging issue for future English teachers? What would you recommend to solve it? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it takes two to tango. It's not only the teacher responsibility; it's also the student's responsibility. So the most challenging issue is to get students to understand the importance of learning a language, and to understand the importance of the students. They have to do their part, right? So the students have to understand that for them to learn a language, there are certain things that need to be taken care. There are certain things that they have to do. The teacher is the guy. The teacher is the person that gives them the orientation, but ultimately is the student, the one that have to take the one that has to take the bull by the horns, and do the job. So I think that's definitely in any kind of, not only in English, but in any kind of subject. I would say the the student needs to do their part, needs to be fully aware, needs to be responsible enough, need to have the discipline. So what do I recommend to solve it? Well, that's a very, let's say, open question that can that can brings about too many answers. And if you dig into this question, there are just so many things that we can do. There are just so many things we have to work on to have students become, the most important role actors in their learning. What would I recommend? Let's say, roughly, it's just, well, that's something that has to start since the student is very little, and with the company and with the guidance of the parents or of the adults that are around the student, so the student can actually acquire this conscious level. So when the student grows up, the student doesn't need the teacher to be all the time on it for him to do the activities. So, like I told you, it's a very tricky question, but in let's say that what it's in our hands as teachers is to keep pushing, is to keep pushing, to refresh ourselves, to try to come up with activities that can get the students feel motivated, feel the students more interested in the learning, trying to do the activities a little bit more fun, a little bit more practical. Yeah. So, well, but that's definitely something that deserves more than just one video, or deserves definitely a whole talk and a lot of investigation, because it's probably the most important uh, question in any, and the most important thing in any learning process, how to get the students to do the part. Okay, so I think that was it for now. So see you around.